What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the next issue of Ultimate Spider-Man. This is issue 9, and in this issue we're going to be seeing Spider-Man going kind of head-to-head with the Kingpin. We'll have to get to that later, but either way, it's awesome. Spider-Man starts investigating the Kingpin, seeing what's going down, and we get a little bit of interaction with Mary Jane, so that's going to be awesome to see. So, yeah, without further ado, guys, I'm sure you guys want to get into this as much as I do, so let's jump into it now. Alright, so the issue begins with us pretty much seeing Ox, Fancy Dan and Montana all talking in like what seems to be an alleyway, and they're actually discussing blowing up a McDonald's or something along those lines. And I think that is brilliant just because the whole reason he wants to blow up this restaurant is because he didn't get a call back when he applied for a job in high school years ago, and I think that's just brilliant. And in case you guys didn't know, Ox, Montana and Fancy Dan, those names might ring a bell, and that's because they are part of the Enforcers. They were actually featured in the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon along with Shocker, and of course they were in Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions in the Spider-Man Noir Hammerhead missions. So that is awesome that these are featured in this comic. Obviously this is the Ultimate Universe versions. As you can see, Spider-Man jumps in there trying to get information of Kingpin, and he actually starts getting a little bit beaten down. He starts losing the fight a bit, and then all of a sudden he just turns around and begins to lay the beat down on these guys. And I think in this issue, but especially just at the beginning here with Ox, Montana and Fancy Dan, you can really see how modern this comic is, because the Ultimate Universe was created to modernize the Spider-Man character for the new generation, and you can really see that shine through in the conversation at the beginning between the Enforcers. I mean, like they were mentioning McDonald's and stuff, like how they were in high school and how they're all crazy and stuff like that, and I think it really shined through just how modern the dialogue is in this comic. And while Spider-Man is fighting these guys, it turns out that there's one more at the back. Now, I can't remember who this guy is at the back, I'm not entirely sure. To be honest, I don't even think he says his name. He just kind of ignores Spider-Man and says how Spider-Man's plan is kind of childish. It's not exactly a really good plan. Like, what was he expecting? Him to just be taken to Kingpin? And that's when he explains that Kingpin is actually having some kind of fundraising gala at his penthouse on Friday night. This random guy actually explains that in order to get to the Kingpin, what you need to do is take something that he can't get back, something along those lines. And of course, Kingpin is a powerful man, so he is very used to getting what he wants. So if Spider-Man takes something or does something that Kingpin can't get back, that's definitely going to get his attention. Whilst all these guys are explaining this to him, Spider-Man is there, and the FBI undercover agents actually burst into the room and hold these guys at gunpoint along with Spider-Man, and Spider-Man just jumps out of the way saying sorry, late, whatever. He like makes a crazy joke and gets out of there. Now, what I love about Ultimate Spider-Man is that he kind of reflects on his actions. So say like he does something stupid, he will literally swing away hating himself because he knows how stupid he just was, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. He's not exactly a fan of the fact that he just went in there guns blazing without any kind of knowledge of anything like that. He just kind of went in there on winging it, kind of. And he also takes a look at the newspaper the next day, and he can see that he's being called a menace by the Daily Bugle and all of the other newspapers out there. And this is where it starts, where the media starts to call Spider-Man a menace, and this of course is where Peter starts to hate the newspapers and stuff. But we then go over to Peter Parker in school later in the day, and Kong and Flash, well, mainly just Kong, are talking about Spider-Man and how he was there beating up Kingpin's guys and stuff. And Liz Allen just freaks out like crazy. And also we get an awesome interaction between Peter and Mary Jane. You really see the romantic side of these two start to shine through, and this is where it really starts to build upon it, especially in Ultimate Spider-Man issue 13, which you'll have to wait for that. But don't you just love how Mark Bagley and Brian Michael Bendis kind of blend these two characters together? I think it's awesome. It's kind of like watching a TV series and you're like hoping that these two people get together, like you ship two people. It's just awesome, and I think it's done really well in the comic. And I think just the humour again, it's like they're made for each other, which obviously they are, but I don't know, it's just awesome to see it play out in front of your eyes. Now of course Peter has finished school and he now has a job at the Daily Bugle, so that's where we go to next. And Peter pretty much asks J. Jonah Jameson, why do the newspapers print Spider-Man as a menace? Like, why don't they give an all-round good image of Spider-Man? And he pretty much explains that because even though the people want definite facts, they really don't. What they really want is a good story and a bad story, and the cheers and the boos and stuff like that. And really they want an entertainment sort of media, and that is what J. Jonah Jameson is giving them. Now Peter eventually, after Daily Bugle, heads on over to Kingpin's fundraising gala event at his penthouse, and we're actually greeted with Kingpin in person for the first time. He's pretty much being announced as a friend to New York City. Now, of course, we know that he definitely is not a friend, and you can see Spider-Man's head in the window in the background there, and I just love how Spider-Man kind of feels like a competition, like how Kingpin is being hailed the hero and Spider-Man is being called the villain, like a menace. And I just love how Spider-Man kind of thinks that life isn't fair in that retrospect, and I think that's awesome. Now, Spider-Man goes into the building, into Kingpin's main room, and he says that he's getting that feeling again, like that tingling sense, and of course that is his spider sense, and the issue ends with two huge hands coming round Spider-Man's head, about to crush him, and that is where the issue ends. So we're going to have to wait until the next issue to see Spider-Man fight off against the Kingpin. But what did you guys think of that issue? I mean, the artwork was awesome, but what did you think about, like, the inclusion of Ox, Fancy Dan, and Montana, you know, part of the Enforcers? Did you like those characters being, like, cameoed in this? And, of course, what do you think about Kingpin? I mean, he is huge, like, he's massive. But also, I want to know your thoughts on the tease between Mary Jane and Peter Parker's relationship and interaction. Because if you look at the comic, well, Mary Jane and Peter only interacted in the comic on, like, one page, and it had a huge effect on the reader. So I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on that. So I'm going to decide on giving this issue a 10 out of 10. I've already explained all my reasons for it, but that main reason was because Peter Parker discovered what the media is like towards Spider-Man, and not only that, but just the powerful interaction between Mary Jane and Peter really topped it off for me in this issue. So yeah, 10 out of 10. Guys, go to the links in the description to follow me on Twitter and Facebook to get all the latest comic book news, and of course to know when I'm editing videos, etc. Also, don't forget to hit the like button on this video, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in my next video.